As far as historical records show, no society or nation has been immune to discrimination, either as victim or victimizers. Contemporary forms of discrimination date back to when European colonizers penetrated and transformed previously isolated societies and people. The more extreme forms of discriminatory practices include genocide, slavery, legislative discrimination such as apartheid, discriminatory immigration laws, and disfranchisement. In our modern society, discrimination as a result of one's sexual orientation is an everyday reality. Many studies conducted in the past have consistently reported that the LGBT community experiences a high level of victimization. Two of the most widely cited studies in the area were conducted in the US in the early 1990s, and together provide an excellent overview of the level of victimization and intimidation reported by gay men and lesbians, and the methodology traditionally employed in hate crime research of this nature. Herrick Gillis, Kogan and Glunt, 1997, surveyed 150 gay men and lesbians entered in a gay street fair in Sacramento in 1993, and conducted follow-up interviews with 45 of this sample. Of those interviews, 41% stated that they had suffered crime victimization due to their sexual orientation, or at least once since the age of 16. 7% of gay and bisexual men have been assaulted with a weapon as a result of their sexuality, and similarly, high levels of victimization were recorded for burglary, 22%, vandalism, 19%, sexual assault, 14%, attempted sexual assault, 15%, and robbery, 8%. 15% of lesbians and bisexual women had been assaulted with a weapon, although Grenada does not have any statistical data to prove likewise. Many of the opinion that the numbers could be similar in nature. Discrimination produces immense effect in psychological, social, political, and economic domains. Whether intended or not, the effects are compounded by the loss of self-worth, a sense of alienation from a wider society, political disempowerment, and economic inequalities. Prejudice constitutes a major danger to peace both within a nation and among nations. As a consequence, the emergence of a new moral order increasingly provides a leverage point to counter the effect of prejudice and discrimination. Unless acted upon, discrimination will only continue to alienate members of the LGBT community and the contributions they make to our society.
So today we are here with Josh, who is one of the gentlemen who are supporting this project and the research. He actually works with GrenChap that focuses on the issue of the discrimination against the members of the LGBT community. And I just want to ask Josh, how has it been for you as an advocate for LGBT rights in Grenada?
Well, at the moment, I haven't really been out and about expressing my voice for the community, so not too much that I could see, yes, this has impacted me in whatever way.
But do you think that members of the LGBT community has been facing issues of discrimination locally?
Well, yes, I would think so, because considering we a society descended from colonialism, we have all those laws and we have that one law that talks about the buggery law, and people we still have a kind of fundamentalist Christian mentality. So yeah, so I think because of that we are affected by it.
So how in this research that would focus on the issue of discrimination and how it affects young people's participation in community life?
I'm already excited because this is an opportunity for us to collect our own information, whereas instead of going to America or Europe to ask them about their circumstance. So it's more applicable to us, and it's good to know that I'm part of such an endeavor.
Great. Thank you very much, Josh. Well, I guess we'll be in touch and continue this process as we gather the data towards this project.
My name is Gabriel, and Gabriel also is a member of GrenChap and focuses on the whole issue of the LGBT community. And I want to ask Ms. Gabriel, and how has it been for you as an advocate for LGBT rights in the community?
It's been eventful. I've been involved with GrandChap as a volunteer for a number of years, and now I'm employed as a staff, so I'm pretty much more involved in program design implementation. I think every day brings new challenges, but it also brings an opportunity to be more innovative and resourceful.
Not much research has been done in terms of stigma and discrimination and how it affects members of the LGBT community. Do you feel that something of that nature is in need at this moment?
Yes, I think now, especially now that we're going through this whole process of constitutional reform, and we have to confront the issue of whether or not Grenada has an LGBT community of its own. Too often we rely on studies that have been executed in the region internationally to ground our work, but if we put more into creating our own research questions and answering those questions, then we sort of create a framework as to what the LGBT culture in Grenada specifically looks like. Although there are things that are common across the region, things that will be common internationally, but there might be some unique experiences particular to Grenada.
Would you say that the LGBT community in Grenada faces discrimination on a daily basis?
I would say yes, and to clarify, I think a lot of times when people think about discrimination, they think of maybe more aggressive types of discrimination. I mean, if you look at the kind of discrimination that LGBT persons in places like Jamaica, Trinidad, the Bahamas, they face, it might not be as severe as what we have reported on file or what we may know of, but that doesn't mean discrimination isn't happening. So it might not be the type, we're not hearing about LGBT persons being murdered or physically assaulted as they are in other countries, but we do have discrimination in the workplace. We have discrimination taking place in households where people are being ostracized by their families, their communities. There are different social spaces. We have street harassment, which is a form of discrimination that a lot of LGBT people have to deal with on a daily basis.
Well, I just want to thank you for taking the opportunity to be part of this research project, and I look forward as you are in terms of achieving the final objective where we can finally have something to utilize for our projects. We are with Ms. Charles, who is the supervisor for this project, the research project, and I'm going to ask Ms. Charles 2 questions just in relation to the project. What is your take on the whole issue of stigma and discrimination within the LGBT community?
Well, if you ask the layman, he will say, oh, it's not happening. But actually, in fact, when you talk to the persons from the population, they will tell you that they face a lot of stigma and discrimination during their daily lives. So you have things like, some of them are subtle, some of them are, as you turn your back, they might call it Bulaman or Chichiman or so. Some would get physical, although most of those things are not reported, because when they are reported, the police do not take, some of the police do not take it up and deal with it as they should. So these things get cast aside.
How important do you believe this research project would be to your organization?
It's very timely. We have been meaning to do some research over a period of time, but never had the time, never had the expertise to put the questions and roll it out. So it's very timely, and now that we're doing a project on advocacy, it comes in the right time, and we welcome that project in moving forward.
Thank you.